What's going on, guys? This is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented to you by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game parlays to live in-game odds, WynnBET has what you need to win. If you bet $100, you're going to get $100 at WynnBET.com, or download the WynnBET app and start winning today. State restrictions apply. We're also brought to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Final Four Watch Party, April 1st at 7:30. SGP will be at the Ice House in Los Angeles. So come hang out with the crew. All the info at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/icehouse. All right, so we're continuing our rookie draft series. We are doing a 12-team Superflex rookie mock draft, and we are drafting from each individual spot to talk about each scenario, because all of you are going to have picks all over the board. And if you're like me, you have 12 different teams, and so you may have 12 different draft spots. So looking at the board, let's just see what 105 through 106 is.
Oh, look at that. Bijan went number one. How crazy is that?
And it put me at the 102 spot. I just put the auto, so I didn't mess with what we're looking at. So we have Bijan Robinson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Comment below if you think Anthony Richardson or another player should have went at that 4 spot, and if you would have taken Young or Stroud at the 102. Bijan, I think, is unanimous, undisputed champ at the 101, and we may or may not have shirts to talk about it. Yeah. So 106, Brad, who are you considering here?
Yeah, I'm looking at the quarterbacks just like we were at the 105 really here. I think you're starting to get in that range where the risk is really probably worth taking for Anthony Richardson. There's still one more player really, that's not a quarterback that I absolutely will take before I take Anthony Richardson, and that would be Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet is like the cutoff for me. Once he's off the board, Anthony Richardson's fair game for me. So I'm still holding on Anthony Richardson here because until, like I said, Charbonnet's off the board, I'm not going to think about it. So I'm really looking at him here. If I need a quarterback, I'm looking at Will Levis. And then obviously if I'm looking at the wide receiver, I'm looking at Jordan Addison, who is, was my wide receiver one for quite a while until here recently.
Yeah. And so in that scenario, most likely Brad's trading back, because if you're waiting till after Zach Charbonnet to get Anthony Richardson, you're never going to have Anthony Richardson on your team.
Nope.
Based on these mock drafts, Charbonnet is going around the 110 spot. And so for me, Jordan Addison is here as well. He is my wide receiver one. And so that's definitely someone that I would consider here, or I'd go with Anthony Richardson. And so it is a super flex, and it is so hard to find quarterbacks. So Richardson for me has to be the pick.
All right. The risk is just a little high for me at 106. Like, I don't want to miss at 106.
I get it. And you could get someone that is very interested in that possible Konami code quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And trade back. And if I could get 110 and a 2024 first and get Charbonnet and him, I'm good with it. If I could get a second round pick and 108 and get Will Levis plus a second round pick, are they that far apart? There's definitely ways to go about it, but we're not doing trades, so I'm going with that. We have Bijan Robinson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jahmyr Gibbs, JSN, Anthony Richardson, Jordan Addison, Will Levis, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet. We have Michael Mayer, John Mayer at 111, Kayshon Boutte at 112, Josh Downs at 201. I forgot I am at the 202, and the auto pick is Zach Evans.
So this has shifted in a day. Zach Evans has leapfrogged because it was Devon Achane every pick when we covered the 101, 102, 103, and 104 earlier this week.
Yep. So since Monday, it's been a big change. Evans is moving up the board. Bigsby has moved up the board. And Zay Flowers has moved down the board. He continues to be available in every single mock draft in the second round. And it's maddening to me because I would take him at the 111. And so for the record, we're not going to draft Zay Flowers in every one of these drafts. But
which is basically what we've done in
the record, I want to draft Zay Flowers in every one of these drafts. Yeah. Here's another spot where we could just go and get Hendon Hooker and take our next, best quarterback available, Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is a much better passer. He's an older prospect. And he's another one of these rushing dual threat quarterbacks. He is coming off an ACL injury. He is 25 years old. Those are the knocks on him. And as far as an analytics standpoint, he is an outlier. He also comes from a matchup-based offense that people haven't seen somebody translate to the NFL, so they're concerned about that happening. That being said, this guy looks like he can play football. He's got great production. He played in the SEC. He beat Alabama. I mean, Jalen Hyatt had 5 touchdowns against Alabama, and who threw him the ball? Hendon Hooker. So this guy knows how to play football, and I think he's going to be a damn good quarterback. I have him as a first-round grade, and I think he's going to go late first round. I don't think he's going to go Tampa at 19. I think Tampa could trade back, get him in the mid-20s, but I do think he goes in the mid-20s or maybe at that last pick of the first round, where somebody trades up into the first round from the second and gets that extra fifth-year option. So, Brad, other than Zay Flowers, who are you thinking about here?
Yeah, I'm really looking at the running backs here. I like the option at the running back position, and really a guy that we haven't talked a lot about yet because we haven't been in this range. That's going to be Tyjae Spears, the running back out of Tulane. I'm starting to get interested at the 206. He's available. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Sean Tucker, who we saw dip in production a little bit this season, and it's more that speed guy, not really going to break a ton of tackles. Kendre Miller, who looks really, really good and was like the backbone of that TCU offense this season. So he's looking really good. So I'm looking at these 3 guys, and I may take my share of Tyjae Spears here if I don't have another pick in the second round. Maybe you could trade back a pick or 2 and get him, but I'm okay taking him here at 206 as well.
Yeah, so I've already been on record that I'd go Zay Flowers. My next pick would be Kendre Miller. My next pick would be Dalton Kincaid. But I'm totally fine with Tyjae Spears here, and I made the first pick, so you get the second.
We're going to spice it up a little bit.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm okay with that. We had Josh Downs, Zach Evans, Devin Achane. We have Jalen Hyatt, Tank Bigsby, Tyjae Spears, Sean Tucker, Zay Flowers, Kendre Miller, Cedric Tillman, Rashee Rice, and Dalton Kincaid at 212. Hendon Hooker at the 301. My pick is next. We are auto-picking Darnell Washington. I auto-picked Darnell Washington last draft. Yeah. Marvin Mims, Tanner McKee, Stetson Bennett. You will see a lot of quarterbacks go on here, and I don't know if it's going to happen in your real drafts, but it's going to happen in your mock drafts on Sleeper, especially if you're using a two quarterback format. Rashawn Johnson, we got Izzy Abinaconda, we have Debo McBride, Chase Brown, Rakim Jarrett, Deuce Vaughn. What are your thoughts here, sir?
Yeah, as much as I don't want to go another running back, the value's just there. If any of these 4 at the top get a really nice landing spot, this is a smash pick here, whether that be Rashawn Johnson, whether that be Izzy, whether that be Debo McBride, whether that be Chase Brown. I think those are the 4 guys you're looking at. The top for me is going to be Izzy out of the 4. So he would be my pick here at the 306. That is who we took the last draft. So, I mean, I'm fine talking about another player and getting somebody else here, but that's where my head's at.
Yeah, for me, last time it was Izzy, Chase Brown, or Eric Gray. And so for me, how I have them ranked, I have it ranked Eric Gray, and then I have Chase Brown, and then Izzy. And I think Johnson's to be discussed too. So I'm fine with any of those options.
All right. So the one thing I do want to talk about, we'll go ahead and just take the top of the board here. You talked about Dalton Kincaid. We saw Dalton Kincaid go at the 212. That's basically where we've seen him go in all of these mocks, no matter where we're picking. If you don't have a pick in the back end of the second round where Dalton Kincaid is getting mocked right now, what's the earliest you would take him in the second round, or would you even sneak him into the back end of the first for you if he's your tight end 1, who I know he is?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I still play the ADP game, so I'm not going to take somebody like I like Eric Gray. I'm not going to take Eric Gray in the first round. I like Dalton Kincaid, and he went 301 in our last mock, 212 now, so he's around that range. So I know I could probably get him in the mid second round, I would think about him at that 204, 205 spot as long as Zay Flowers is off the board.
Yep.
That's where it would start for me. So I'm okay taking him there, but I'm not going to go and reach and take him at the tight end 1 spot. He's still probably not going to, him, Mayer, Washington, they're not going to be producers year 1 on my team. And so I like the investment, but I still understand I'm going to have to wait. And I'd rather taking players round 1, unless I'm in a rebuild, that are going to be more, short-term options. But even in a rebuild, if you take, one of these guys like, Zach Charbonnet at 110, I could flip him immediately, where Kincaid is not going to be as instant of a return, even on the trade market. So no, I would not move him that high, but I would definitely considered him at 206 for us.
Yep. All right, so looking at the 406 here, we've seen a huge string of tight ends coming off the board, and there's a wide receiver we haven't really talked much about at all that's available here in Xavier Hutchinson, a little bit of a taller wide receiver, a guy who had well over 1,000 yards this season. I think it's a guy that can really be a sneaky pick for you, really in the back end of the 3rd round for most drafts. And if he's an undrafted free agent in your rookie drafts, he is an absolute immediate add after that draft is over. So I'm looking at Xavier Hutchinson here.
Yeah, there's only about 5 or 6 of the top 20 receivers that play the majority of their snaps outside. And Xavier Hutchinson's one of them. He could translate to the NFL as a big slot, like a Michael Thomas or an Allen Lazard, but he is a big-bodied outside receiver. He's not going to blow by people, but he is a big physical receiver. He is a great run blocker. He is a tough possession catch guy, and he's a good athlete. Not a separator. He is not one of these smaller guys that is a instant. He can create separation. But he is a good player, had 111 catches last year. So he's was the focal point of their offense. And, if he were to get, 3rd round draft capital, be very interesting, to see where he goes. I'd be fine with that. I like taking my shots on running backs at this point, because they do give you the fast return, but I'm okay with Hutchinson here.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the reality of the matter, right? Eric Gray, we've talked about him. Chase Brown, we've talked about him. In a real draft, these guys are going to be taken ahead of Xavier Hutchinson, right? We would take both of those guys above Xavier Hutchinson. The reality of the matter, though, Stetson Bennett, very unlikely to be drafted in a rookie draft. Max Duggan, very unlikely to be drafted in a rookie draft. All these tight ends that we saw in the 4th round, unlikely to be drafted in a rookie draft. So that's going to push some of these guys up on the board. So I don't want to give anybody the perception that we like Xavier Hutchinson over these other guys. So just keep that in mind.
And who would you have, Hutchinson or Parker Washington?
I graduated from Penn State, so I kind of have to go with Parker, my boy Parker.
So the 4th round was Will Mallory, Rakim Jarrett, Braylon Strange. We have Cameron Latou, Josh Wiley, Xavier Hutchinson, Jaron Hall, Marlon Ford, Zach Kuntz. Zach Kuntz moving up. Just since last draft, his ADP jumped 3 spots.
4 picks, yeah, right.
Thompson, O'Connell, and Malik Cunningham rounded out. All right, well, I appreciate you guys checking in. Make sure you like, subscribe. We're gonna do all 12, and then we're gonna do rookie profiles and mock drafts all off season as we get prepared for the NFL draft. And we want to thank some sponsors and offer you guys some more stuff.
All right, so check it out. Everybody's getting ready for the Final Four. It is March Madness, and our guys at Sports Gambling Podcast are hosting a Final Four watch party at the historic Ice House in Pasadena, California on Saturday, April 1st at 7:30. Make sure you go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/icehouse to get all those details. We're also hosting a Masters giveaway, so if you're looking to hang out with our 2 main guys, Sean and Ryan, at the Stadium Swim, and watch the biggest golf tournament in the world, you can get that opportunity by winning a 3-night stay at the Circa Las Vegas to hang out with those guys. This contest is completely free to enter. All you have to do is go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/golf party. And if you don't win the contest, it's okay because you can still get a discount on a room using our promo code SGP15. And to close us out is one of our favorite sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. We are brought to you by them, and it is heating up because of March Madness. The College Pick'em is a great way to get in on all the action, especially if your bracket is busted since day one. Plus, they have all your favorite college basketball player props. So head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use our promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. Again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. As always, good luck this season.
Cheers.